Ever get that feeling, when a song's so familiar, it kind of fades into the background?
Mm,
Well, today we're hitting rewind on a classic that's practically inescapable.
okay.
YMCA by the Village People.
Right.
Get ready to be surprised as we take a deep dive into its lyrics
Okay.
and cultural impact.
Sounds good.
We're joined by an expert in cultural analysis and music history. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
YMCA seems like a simple song on the surface, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it definitely seems that way.
But there's some,
At first.
there's some surprising depth when you really dig into it.
Oh, absolutely. YMCA is a fascinating example of a song that appears straightforward,
Right.
but actually engages with complex themes.
Like what exactly?
Well,
I'll admit I've always been caught up in the hand gestures
right.
and the energy, never really stopping to think about what the lyrics are actually saying.
Well, the song starts by directly addressing a young man who's feeling lost and alone. And this directness, this personal touch, was quite unusual for pop music in the late 70s.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like the singers are taking on this mentor role,
Okay.
speaking directly to the listener's struggles.
It's true. Those opening lines do feel very intimate,
Yeah.
even vulnerable, you could say.
Mm.
And then there's that line, I felt no man cared if I were alive.
Yeah,
That's not your typical pop song lyric.
absolutely not. And, those lyrics, they offer a glimpse into some of the societal anxieties of the time.
Okay.
Traditional support systems were starting to crumble, leaving a lot of young people feeling lost and adrift.
Interesting.
And so YMCA kind of emerges during this time when belonging and guidance are desperately needed.
So you're saying the song is presenting the YMCA as a solution?
In a way, yeah.
Right.
The YMCA, with its emphasis on community and personal growth, became a real symbol of hope and belonging during this period of change.
So it's about more than just finding a place to stay.
Much more. It wasn't just about finding refuge. The lyrics also emphasize personal responsibility, the need to pick yourself off the ground,
That's an interesting contrast.
Right?
This idea that you can rely on a community for support,
Mhm.
but also need to take charge of your own life.
Precisely. It's a very nuanced message that speaks to the power of both individual agency and collective support.
And they really drive that message home, don't they?
They do.
With lines like, no man does it all by himself. Finding your tribe seems to be a key theme here.
You've hit the nail on the head. YMCA really emphasizes the importance of connection, of finding a place where you feel seen and accepted for who you are.
It's not just about finding any community, though, is it?
Right.
The lyrics seem to paint a very specific picture of the YMCA as this positive, uplifting space.
Yeah, exactly. It's a place where you can make real your dreams, have a good meal, get yourself clean. The song really promotes the YMCA as a place for personal growth and well-being, which is a far cry from that isolating experience described in the opening lines.
It's like they took this whole self-help movement and set it to music.
Exactly.
And speaking of the music,
Yeah.
that's a huge part of what makes YMCA so enduring.
Yeah.
It's pretty much impossible to not tap your feet to that beat.
It's true.
Do you think the music is the main reason for the song's global impact, or is there more to it?
The music is definitely catchy,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's just about that. This is an anthem that truly transcends language
Right.
and cultural barriers.
It's true. You hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
Weddings, sporting events.
Everywhere. You hear it all around the world.
Exactly.
I think that really speaks to the universality of its message, that longing for connection, for a place to belong, to be yourself. I mean, we all crave that, right?
That's true.
And no matter where we come from.
And it makes you want to get up and move.
Yeah.
Those hand gestures are practically a universal language at this point.
I know. It's amazing.
Have you ever seen a crowd resist joining in on that?
Never. It's just this instant, infectious energy.
Totally.
But there is another layer to this song's success that I think we should touch on.
Okay.
The Village People themselves.
Right.
They weren't just your average disco band.
Yeah.
These were cultural icons challenging social norms,
Yeah.
redefining masculinity.
That's what I find so fascinating about this song. I mean, YMCA is super catchy and uplifting on its own.
Right.
But when you consider the group performing it, it adds this whole other layer, doesn't it?
It does.
Those themes of belonging and acceptance take on a whole new meaning.
Yes.
They really did take those classic archetypes,
Yeah.
like the cowboy, the construction worker, the policeman,
Right.
and infused them with this really playful,
Yeah,
flamboyant energy,
totally. It's like they were challenging this whole idea of
Yeah.
what it even means to be masculine.
Exactly. And they were not subtle about it.
No, they were not.
Their look, their sound,
Right.
their whole vibe was just a celebration of individuality.
Absolutely. And,
Mm.
during a time when conformity was still very much
Yeah.
the norm,
Right.
that must have been incredibly powerful for people to see.
Totally. It's like they created this space where
Yeah.
people felt safe to just be themselves.
Exactly. To embrace their individuality without fear of judgment. It's no coincidence that YMCA became kind of an anthem
Right.
for marginalized communities who finally saw themselves represented in a positive light.
It's like the song is saying, come as you are, find your people, let's celebrate.
Yes.
And that message feels just as relevant today as it did back then.
Perhaps even more so, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in an increasingly polarized world, YMCA reminds us of the importance of unity and acceptance, this call to celebrate our shared humanity,
Totally.
to embrace our differences, and ultimately to find strength in community.
YMCA by the Village People, a song that has transcended generations and cultures to become a global phenomenon. We've explored its hidden depths, its cultural impact, and the truly groundbreaking legacy of the group who brought it to life. It's a great reminder that sometimes the most joyful anthems carry the most profound messages. What hidden depths will you uncover in a familiar tune?